name's James Edward, live here in Sandy, Utah, enjoying another Brick Slopes.
Awesome, and you've got this massive winter scene, Christmas village, whatever you want to call this. There's some of everything going on here.
We call it the Edward Family Winter Village. That way I give my kids a little credit. I get 99% of the credit. My wife and kids can take 1% of the credit. So yeah, this is, I think, our third year displaying here at Brick Slopes. This year we're about 35% bigger in terms of the landscape. We didn't come last year because we were making it bigger and a little bit more realistic. A lot more slopes and tile out there to make it look like snow looks, shiny and smooth. So that's kind of where we're at. We're bigger, we're better. I always like to say, like Clark Griswold, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right, and we're going to do it big.
Perfect. Let's start in this corner here, and we can kind of make our way through then. Tell us kind of what's happening over here.
Well, it's funny because here we have the observatory. It was a Bricklink set from, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. And that was honestly the idea behind this expansion. I'm like, wouldn't that be cool to have an observatory up on top of a hill like they are sort of in real life? So I just kind of wanted to start with that as kind of the focal point of this whole side, and just kind of have this hillside that continued all the way to our old existing mountain. And so it just kind of, I think, came together well. Brick Slopes is the first time I had ever seen the older section and the newer section come together, because it's just, I have no room in my house for this. This fits in our garage, but that's about it. And so I just sort of wanted to have this continuous hillside throughout the whole thing to make it feel like kind of a mountainy village, which, I grew up here in Utah. We have mountains everywhere, and I kind of wanted to have that sort of, that feel. So then we added, all these new buildings in this area. You got a hockey rink. You just sort of kind of a larger city than the old version, but it really all just started from that observatory.
I love that even you are getting to really appreciate this for the first time at the show, just like all of us who come here and see it.
Absolutely. It was fun. I knew it would come together because I, measured. I knew the train track would go together in the road. But there's a part of you that's like, but what if it's off by a stud? Then what? So a little bit of me was like, okay, good. It came together. Now I don't have to tear apart the mountain to move everything one stud.
And you have a huge number of these unique little tree designs that just kind of use the one piece there to hold it up as the trunk.
Yeah, exactly. I think that little antenna piece on top of a little cone piece, the cone's there to kind of keep it in place. So if the trees fall off, I know where to put them. But yeah, there's 2,200 of these little trees with the stems. Even me, I counted them as I was coming, and I got to 2,200. I'm like, geez, that's ridiculous. That's a lot of trees. But when you have a huge hillside like that, you need a lot of trees to fill in this space. So that was kind of a lot of fun to just sort of it's fun to see something come together that you have in your brain for 3 or 4 years of what you eventually want to get to. And I feel like right now that's where we are.
And what is this building down here? I really like the look of that one.
That's that new Art of Chocolate set, Bricklink set that came out a little bit, I want to say, like 6 months ago. They mailed those out, and that was kind of just an area, same thing, like you're expanding this hillside, but then you're like, well, now I need the town. So a lot of these buildings were just sort of like, well, I got to design something. So a lot of these buildings, the Art of Chocolate's a set, but this area there is a climbing wall, there's a diner, there's a little pub here for the hockey players to go hang out at afterwards, called the Puck Pub. So all that area was just sort of kind of designing buildings to fit the space of what the area was, just kind of a livable city.
Mm-hmm. And while we're back here with the mountain, it's a great time to talk about the fact that you've got sort of an interior underground section. So what's happening on the backside?
So there's really a story there. This set that came out last year with the hot air balloon, I think it's North Pole post office. Mm-hmm. So there's an elf in the hot air balloon. He goes around the city. He collects the letters to Santa from all the kids. He drops them down into the post office. And then there's a conveyor belt that takes them from the post office all the way around over here to the North Pole, where the elves make the toys. And then they're go on Santa puts them in, all those toys in his sleigh, and sends them off. So just a kind of a story that spans the whole length of that area, incorporating sets that Lego put out, and then kind of just your own little ideas. But that's a lot of what I try to do is, what are the sets that Legos put out? How can I incorporate them into this? And if they don't work, like, there's no gingerbread house in this. I know a lot of people say, where's your gingerbread house? It's like, it doesn't really work. So that's kind of, I use what is out there, and if it's nothing, you kind of create what else you want.
Yeah, I love that you've got this massive conveyor belt that just runs the whole mountain.
I did have one kid say, that conveyor belt should move. And I'm like, that would be amazing. I don't know that I have enough space to get gears in there, but, we'll just visualize it. It's moving.
And then the train that runs under there, that runs around pretty much the whole display here?
Yeah, it goes around, gets to that boardwalk area and kind of stops. But, yeah, it runs pretty much the length of everything else, which was, like I said, it came together. It came together here. I wasn't one stud off. And it's, if you look down really underneath the train, that we have a graffiti wall down under there where those Lego collectors out there, we have thousands of sticker pieces that we never use for anything. And I thought, wouldn't it be awesome if it was graffiti in the train tunnel?
Yeah.
So there are, I didn't count. I have no idea, but I know it's about 12 feet of stickers.
So that's a really fun use for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm sure so many AFOLs out there have endless stickers that really probably the only time you use them was when you peel the sticker off and use that tile for something else. So here we're able to incorporate them.
Mm-hmm. And that moves us down to the other corner here where you've got some great movement with this ski lift. So how has this been working for you?
The ski lift is a love-hate relationship. Even right now, you can see a little bit it slipped off here. We're going to help it get back onto the gears there. But I really wanted to have it actually move as I'm trying to talk and fix at the same time. Anyway, we'll get it there. But I live here in Utah. We have 8 ski resorts within an hour, and I wanted to make sure that it was a ski mountain. And so the chairlift, it took a little while to find the right. See, here we go. Those who work on gears know that gears are always an issue. But it moves. It gets you up there. We've got Bert and Ernie on the ski lift there. And it's a ski mountain. We wanted it to be a ski mountain. And so, yeah, I think this is the 3rd version of this chairlift that I've tried to find a way to make it work. And it kind of works. Even last night we were fidgeting with gears to get us to a point where the chairlift would at least go up and down. Sure, skis fall off skier, but hey, that's real life. If you've ever skied, everyone say, hey, look, there's a random glove. There's a random ski down there. Someone dropped their ski or snowboard. But yeah, we got a half pipe down in that slope there where someone's going on the half pipe. So yeah, it was one of the first things I built when I started this village, I think 7 years ago, and I've always just evolved and expanded. But this ski mountain area has taken on about 3 different evolutions of it since then. It's very sloped. It was all brick built in the beginning, and it's still brick built, but all the bricks are underneath, and now it's a lot of slope. So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. And then kind of takes us out into the town if you want to talk about that section some more.
Yeah, just, these Harry Potter sets that I've kind of winterized. This Bricklink Ski Lodge over here, I forget the name of it, but that's been a really fun one to add more slopes and make it more winterized. This area is actually, this Main Street area, this is where it all started in my idea about 7 years ago, which is just very lively and vibrant. I think we even have the Dune. I forget his name, but we have the Dune. What's his name? I can't remember.
Nothing says Christmas like the Dune villains.
Yeah, exactly. But we just try and put as many fun, creative things in there. I incorporated the Bricklink Parisian Street sets there. Those are new. When I first started, it was small. The Main Street area, the buildings were all the original Winter Village buildings, like the bakery and the post office and the toy shop. They're very small, and we said, hey, buildings in downtown are a little bit bigger. So I joked that in 10 years, as I keep expanding, we might have skyscrapers in the Winter Village. Now we have 2- and 3-story buildings instead of 1-story buildings. But yeah, this is the center of activity in a city during the holidays. The downtown, the plaza, there's kids are performing, there's a market, there's a merry-go-round, kids are seeing Santa. This is kind of the focal point of the city. It's been this way for 7 years with my Winter Village, and it's a great spot.
Yeah. And you've got even interiors here in a lot of these buildings.
Yeah, we got Grinch in the jail here. They caught him before he returned his presents. But yeah, just this is in spots where you can see the interior. It is nice to add interior if you can, which we've done here. Which moves us down a little bit to the zoo down here. Which, in fact, I think I think I talked to you guys 3 years ago, and we did a video, and I think you even said, well, what are you going to do next? And I said, I might do a zoo, because my daughter loves animals. Well, we did a zoo. And today is Dress Up as Your Favorite Animal Day at the zoo. So the minifigures that Legos put out, we have the giraffe minifigure, the elephant, there's a lion, a monkey, a polar bear, and they're all, the kids are dressed up to come see their favorite animals here at the zoo today. So this was really a lot of people say, well, a city needs a zoo, and if for me, I have a child who loves animals, hey, we're going to make a zoo, which we did. Squoze it in there. Tight space, but you get it in there.
Yeah, I love the penguin jumping into the water back there.
Yeah. That's a fun, and it's, you try to make, and that's a challenge for, I think, a lot of Lego builders and myself, is like, how do you make Lego feel a little bit action? It's stabilized, but if you can add a little action when you can, it makes it fun.
And of course, we got the Die Hard shout out here.
Well, yeah, of course, and Die Hard is totally a Christmas movie there. And that's in this village for those who've come this year. I think I have 25 wintry Christmas movie scenes. It's a scavenger hunt, and people are able to find those. And of course, we had to have Die Hard. And this is the tallest building in the Winter Village, so that's where John McClane is dropping the bad guy from at the end of the movie. And we have the Winter Parade that goes that way, Christmas floats. We have the Nutcracker Marching Band down there. I think there's 20 of them, from flutes to clarinets to saxophones to trumpets to tubas to trombones. They have a full marching band there. They can play whatever Christmas music is in your mind, but they're definitely playing something.
I love that. It brings us out then to the kind of water section here. So what were kind of the main elements you wanted to capture in this section?
Just kind of a vibrant, boardwalk, the harbor there. I mean, the lighthouse was kind of the anchor that started it, and you kind of have, I think the original lighthouse set was just on one 32 by 32 base plate, but I extended it one to get it out into the water a little more, and it's really just a whole boardwalk of activity. You got the Ferris wheel. If you look really close, you got some sailors down there talking to some pretty girls. You got the Muppets who were, that I converted that Friends Theater to a kind of a Muppets theater. All the Muppets are going down there to get ready to see their show. That's kind of just sort of as many minifigures as possible. That's what I like on this, is I think I have 1,200 minifigures, and it gives a city, it feels vibrant when you have a lot of minifigures. And this pirate ship works great, because the theme this year at Brickslope is a pirate's life for me, and so you gotta have a pirate ship in the Winter Village, and you have a Santa pirate up there. He's doing pirate captain stuff. I don't know. He's just swinging from the ropes. But that's kind of, just a vibrant boardwalk here, incorporating some of the Lego sets that have been out there, some real sets, some Bricklink sets, some of your own designs to just create this area that feels alive.
And you went for the kind of tiled approach to water here, which I'm sure gets very tedious to put all that down.
Yeah, I don't know, 6,000, 7,000 tiles. And what's great is I've seen so many different techniques out there, and sometimes you just go with a technique that you have a lot of the parts of. For me, I had a lot of these tiles. I'm like, let's just go with that. You try and incorporate a little bit of waves there. And people have asked me, what are you going to do to expand next? And I don't know if I'll do anything extra, but if I do, this would be the area that would make sense to do that. Maybe we spice up the water. Maybe we make it bigger. Who knows?
Right.
And that's the thing. I've done this village for 7 years, and a lot of it is just you add on to what you have. And if you want to put something else in, you got to take something else out. So it's kind of like people that have a city in their basement. This is my city. Just doesn't go in my basement. It doesn't fit, but it's in my garage a couple months out of the year where we can expand and tweak and go from there and bring it to shows. Maybe sometime I'll have the ambition to load it into a trailer and go somewhere beyond brick slopes here in Utah.
Take it on the road.
Yeah, exactly. Then I would worry about how much would break in transport, because I only live 10 minutes from here, but if I had to drive 10 hours, I don't know how much would break.
You got Brickslopes, Colorado happens now, so there's another opportunity for you. A lot of mountains around there too.
Yes.
So that moves us into kind of towards the train station in this section. So I see the Star Wars reference is super fun here.
Yeah. A small little snowball fight. They're just dressed up as Star Wars characters for the day, throwing snowballs. We don't want any actual missiles being shot there. This area up here, an ice skating rink with a little pathway for horse-drawn carriages to go around there, and that's an area that's, I think, it's taken on 4 evolutions as I've changed this winter village through the years, incorporated kind of the newer style of ice piece on that one, but it's always been the Marvel characters out there ice skating. Hulk, it's really strong ice, so the Hulk can totally fit on there. Black Widow, Captain America. That's just sort of just a fun area where there's no buildings there. It's just sort of the outdoor landscape. And there's a little barn here, and over here in Utah, there's a place that I remember going as a kid. It was called Wheeler Farm. And they did horse-drawn carriages, and you kind of went through the trees. And so even though this isn't Wheeler Farm, it was inspired by Wheeler Farm, and just sort of that area you go as a kid and really enjoy that, get some hot chocolate afterward, and kind of be out there in nature.
And here you made much larger trees, so there's a lot more to some of these designs.
Yeah, I think here, Bob, we probably have like 5 different trees, the small pines, the larger pines, these other ones, and try to incorporate a lot of color. These larger trees, if you probably look through the village, there's probably 8 different color leaves, some purples, some blues, oranges, reds, yellows. Just if you have the piece, throw them out there. Just make it colorful. These pines here, I've seen variations of these. I've built variations. This is the current one that actually transports pretty well. I've had some that break in transport, and you're rebuilding the whole thing. So these are a little bit sturdier. And that's when you come to a show like this, that's half of it, is what's going to get there that doesn't break.
Right.
So these trees do pretty well that way. And then it takes us here to the large train station, which, this isn't a European town, but in Europe, the train stations are some of the biggest buildings in the city, and so that's why we have this big brick-link train. I think it's called Studgate, came out about 4 years ago. Just winterize it a little bit, throw it on there, and train, that's where the trains go.
Yeah. So you've talked a little bit about kind of getting it all set up here at the show, but how long does that whole process take you, bringing this in and getting it all set up?
So it took about 7 hours set up on Thursday. About 5 of those hours were just getting everything together. The mills plates come together, the train tracks all snap together, the road, and then the last couple hours of that is just fixing all the trees and the minifigs that fall in transport. It wasn't too bad, but just kind of making it feel like a city instead of just 100 minifigures laying down.
Right.
But yeah, so that's about the process. I'm curious, takedown, obviously be a little bit less. Takedown day is later today, and part of me is feeling a little bit nervous about that part. So is this all going to fit in the boxes I brought? I'm sure it will. It's just every April that comes to a convention, you dread a little bit takedown day, because it's like, oh no, I got to box all this back up.
Do you have a dream, like winter or Christmas themed Lego set that you wish Lego would release, or something you maybe hope to build yourself someday to include in here?
I think a school was something that I would love to have. They haven't, so then I just made one, myself. This was kind of a combination of someone's design out that I saw and then tweaked it a little bit. But yeah, especially when you have a Christmas Story reference where Flick's, stuck his tongue to the flagpole, you need a school. I think that's the other thing too, is just whatever you get, try and incorporate it. I mean, even a hot air balloon in a winter village. I never would have thought of a hot air balloon in winter. I don't even know if logistically that's scientifically a thing. I know you got to get hot up there if it's too cold, but just whatever they put out there, I've tried to incorporate. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But a hockey rink was great here. I imagine I don't know, maybe they'll probably never do a hockey rink, but especially here in Utah, we just got an NHL team last year, the Utah Mammoth, so we fell in love with hockey, my kids, so it was one of the first things I said we got to get in the expansion. Same thing with climbing wall here. My kids love to climb, so in this expansion it says, let's get a climbing gym. So a lot of the things here are inspired about what inspires my family, what we like to do to kind of make it feel like it's our village.
Yeah. Well, fantastic work here. I'm so glad that you've continued to work on this and bring it out to Brick Slopes, and I can't wait to see whatever you do with it in the future. So it's super fun to check out all the details in here. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you guys, and now we'll just go back and try and fix the chairlift again. The love-hate relationship.